Brilliance Audio presents Obama, an Oral History by Brian Abrams, performed by Tom Parks, Fred Stella, and Emily Sutton Smith.
As an Illinois state senator serving at the turn of the millennium, Barack Obama gave speeches to the types of crowds one would imagine turning out to watch their state senators. "I invited him to come down and speak," recalled Kareem Dale, who extended his invitation via a student association at the University of Illinois Law School. "We probably had about 5 or 10 people in this big 200-person auditorium. Nobody came. They didn't know him at all." Yet improbably, one of the state senator's public appearances helped set the table for a successful U.S. Senate bid and, of course, the presidency. Only 13 seconds of known footage exists of Obama's remarks during a lunchtime rally at Chicago's Federal Plaza. It was October 2002, and George W. Bush was ramping up his ill-fated Iraq War. In Washington, leaders from both parties were largely supportive, but in cities around the country, voices of opposition were rising. At the Chicago rally, signage read, "War is not an option," and "Don't get Bush no blank check." The headliner was the elder Jesse Jackson, the famed civil rights leader and a Chicago fixture. Obama, then 41, was in the early stages of a 2-year campaign to reach Capitol Hill. Already, he had racked up $10,000 in debt from a failed primary race for U.S. Congress 2 years prior, to say nothing of the student loans from Harvard Law School that he and his wife Michelle carried. His 1995 memoir, Dreams from My Father, was greeted with encouraging reviews and discouraging sales, the fate of many a gifted writer. The couple also had 2 daughters, aged 1 and 4. Political consultant David Axelrod, who was then counseling Obama in an unofficial capacity, once wrote about a conversation around that time in which the candidate feared that if this campaign failed, he would have to go out and make a living. On a conference call 3 days before the Iraq rally, an advisor had warned Obama to soften his criticisms. After all, the majority of Washington supported Bush's hawkish agenda. Obama was unswayed. Transcripts from crude audio show Obama targeting the armchair weekend warriors who were devising a dumb war and a rash war in the Middle East, a war based not on reason but on passion, not on principle but on politics. While under no illusions about the Iraqi president's slaughtering of his own people, Obama affirmed his belief that working with the United Nations to contain Saddam Hussein would result in sending him the way of all petty dictators, directly into the dustbin of history. After his speech, Obama retreated to his campaign office on South Michigan Avenue. TV crews swarmed around Jesse Jackson. Of course, Washington's elite did not exactly follow the wisdom of the young state senator. Soon the war buildup began in earnest, with approval from Congress, the media, and big swaths of a bloodthirsty public. The local Daily Herald managed to squeeze the dumb war line from the speech into its coverage of the Chicago event. It was attributed to Barack Obama, spelling his name without the C. 2 years later, after the 2004 Democratic National Convention in Boston, newspapers would begin to spell his name correctly.
Reggie Love. I had read Dreams from My Father and obviously seen the speech he had given at the convention in '04. I think he was more concerned with the idea of trying to make our country a better place for as many people as possible than the idea of just becoming a U.S. Senator. Josh Lipsky. I was a credentials checker at the convention, which was like one of those people who stood outside the door making sure people had the right badges. It was a great gig because then I got to sneak into the hall myself. I had a friend who told me, "You should watch out for this state senator. He's going to keynote at the convention, and if you could get his autograph for me, that'd be awesome."
Darian Page. That convention speech pulled together everything I believed in. That you don't have to be a Democrat to be a patriot, or a Republican to be a patriot. We're all Americans. We all love this country. That's what I saw in my military service. It wasn't everybody's a Republican or everybody's black or white. It was this melting pot.